Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. I will die with this group. Seriously, man. Please. And away we go.
So write that down Wednesday here on Purple Daily, the only show in America
Write this down.
that actually
Write it down. You like writing things down.
is dumb enough to put statistics next to our predictions. And Declan is riding so high off of his post-draft 14 correct predictions run that his future's so bright on Write That Down, he's got to wear shades today.
That's right. Or did my schedule release predictions go horribly wrong and I'm scared to see them? And luckily, my friends at Knockaround, my favorite sunglass pair that I've been rocking the last few years, they're going to help me either block out the haters or block out all the incorrect predictions that I made. So that's my brand. That's my goal here with my Knockaround sunglasses.
So it's UV protection and it's bad schedule predictions protection. That's what we're talking about. All right. We'll see how it went for Declan, old Dex tweets. We'll go through the accountability session. We will make our predictions. But, Judd, tell the audience where they should be fueling up during these off-season months.
Well, that's a very, very simple answer because it's Quick Trip. In fact, you know what? A couple of days ago, I stopped in at a Quick Trip and I was looking around. And as you could see right there, this is not just your ordinary convenience store. This is basically a grocery store. I got the fully loaded baked potato for dinner. Took that puppy home, heated it up, absolutely delicious. And here's the best part. So I'm looking at the options there at Quick Trip, and a sales rep or a person working on the floor comes up to me and says, "Do you have a Quick Trip coupon?" I'm like, "No, I don't." She's like,
I got mine.
"I'll go get you one so you can save on the baked potato."
Very nice. Very
I
nice.
mean, you talk about customer service. You talk about good people. You talk about great options. Quick Trip is where you got to start.
Very nice of those people. Nice.
It was actually very nice. I think I saved
So
$2.
that's good. Good. Congratulations. Saving a couple bucks, the sports dad.
Thanks.
So here's how Write That Down works if you are new to these Wednesday shows. It's 3 Vikings or football-related predictions from everybody on the show each week. They must be quantifiable predictions. We keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns on the show. And listeners, if you want to participate, like our guy Cooper Carlson, you can send Declan a message through the Score North app, and we will get you scheduled for some time, hopefully this off season. So if you guys are ready, we'll start with Judd's accountability session.
Okay.
Okay, a little bit of a mixed bag here for Judley. So you said the Vikings and Lions will have a primetime game on the initial schedule release. You said the Vikings would have a Sunday, Thursday, and 2 Monday night games on those. You were only half right on this one.
Yeah, I'm close. That one's a big miss.
No Sunday. You said the Vikings would not get a bye week after their London game, like immediately after. They do have a bye week. And you said the Minnesota entry, the Minnesota franchise into the Arena Football League would win the championship this year. They're bankrupt and had to fold.
Yeah,
How
they
about
played
that?
2 games.
Did they play
Did the
2
whole
games?
league fold, or did just
I
the
think
Minnesota
some of the
team?
leagues are still playing. I think there might be it's a very confusing thing, but I would have been much better off going off the grid and saying that they were going to fold in season, which would have been plausible for an upstart league.
Yeah. So they're not going to win the title. It doesn't look like. But you did get a couple correct. You said the Vikings would open their schedule on the road, and you said we'll give you a touchdown on this. The Chiefs will open their season with a Thursday night game against the Ravens.
Ooh, that's a while ago. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, they like to take teams that were in the Final Four and kind of rematch them up against each other. So not a terrible week for Judd. I had 4 things come off the board here. I said the Vikings would play on Thanksgiving or Christmas. The Vikings will play the Bears in week 1 or 2 and again in week 17 or 18. I thought we'd have bookend Bears. No. I said the Vikings would have a 4-week stretch where they don't play a road game or don't play a home game. So, like, semantically, they do have, like, 4 weeks of actual real time, but I meant, like, 4 weeks on the football schedule.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
the longest they go is
Good for
3.
you.
So the spirit of this, I'm not gonna hunt for a loophole here. I did say the Vikings would play the Seahawks on Thanksgiving or later, so basically in like the last third of the schedule. And welcome to the Pacific Northwest in December, Vikings. Okay, listeners.
Hey.
Now Eric may have had a tip or some sort of there's some stuff floating around on Vikings Twitter here.
Yeah, we got it. In fact, we got a tweet immediately saying that this was a tip that he had seen earlier in the day.
But he snuck it in. It's a touchdown. Eric said the Vikings would open the season in New York against the Giants. So
playing the game. He's playing the game, and we can't prove he cheated. So
booth review and the call stands.
Yeah, I mean, it could have just been an amazing guess for all we know. It's a correct answer. Okay, and here's
all right.
Old Dex tweets. We'll start with the bad. You said the Vikings bye week would come in week 9 or later. The Vikings' first Sunday night game would be against an NFC North team. And by the way, this is on the initial schedule.
Yes,
so
correct. Yep. So if we get one, this does not count still.
Yeah. You said Vikings-Falcons would be a Monday night game.
Nope.
Judd would get at least 3 correct games in his mock schedule. He had 2 correct games.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah, you were so close.
And then you said the Vikings would play a Thursday night football game in September. They do not. But you salvaged a little bit here. You said the Vikings' week 1 opponent would not be an NFC North team. And the Vikings would get no more than 3 primetime games on their initial schedule release.
Okay.
Snubbed in primetime.
Yeah.
So not terrible. So Declan's still with a massive lead in the completion percentage department. 51% completions for Declan here, down from about 55% before this week. I'm at 35%, Judd 32%, right there with the listeners also at 32%. Judd and the listeners tied with 3 touchdowns apiece. And Declan leads the all-time completion percentage standings with a 37% hit rate. Judd, 35%. I'm at 33%. Listeners at 23%. I have the most touchdowns at 47, but Declan and the listeners both knocking on the door. So there's your accountability session. Wasn't so bad, Dex.
No, it wasn't so bad. It wasn't so. You know what? It's okay.
You've been protected.
I do love my knock-around sunglasses. They protect me from the sun. They're nice, affordable glasses. But yes, it's okay. I think I'll be all right.
Let's get our guy Cooper in here. Cooper, by the way, formerly of Timberwolves YouTube, now very prominent in the Star Wars YouTube sector here. He is a man of many interests, and he joins us on Write That Down once again. And he is the brains behind the O-Line Committee social media content. So, Coop, welcome back to the show, man.
Good to be here. Yeah, I'm ready to make some predictions. Should be fun.
Judd, do you think you can name 3 Jedis on the Jedi Council?
No.
Come on.
I saw the original one
either,
in second grade. I think I was in 2nd or 3rd grade in the theater. Like, I was there, big screen at the time. It was tremendous special effects. I have not seen a Star Wars since. I found sports like a year after I saw Star Wars, and my life changed.
Chapter 1.
Well, dude,
and that was it.
Dude, Coop, shout out your Star Wars, because there's probably a bunch of Star Wars fans on Purple Daily here. You should shout it out to the audience.
Yeah, just called Star Wars Galaxy on YouTube. We just hit 60,000 subscribers, actually.
What?
So
Dude.
we're doing all right over there.
I feel like last time we talked about it, like 6 months ago, you were at like 38,000?
Yeah, something like that. So we're steadily going, so it's good. But yeah, today it's all about the purple football. So
Amazing,
excited for
man.
that.
So, all right, here's how it's going to work. We got Cooper, we got Judd, Declan, and then back to me. We'll make 3 trips around the room here. So, Coop, fire away. You are first out of the gate.
Write this
All
down.
right, newly drafted Vikings kicker. It's a new era. He's going to make his first 3 50-yard field goals. It's Will Riker, is that how you pronounce it? I've only heard people call him like kicker. I don't think I've ever heard his name, but Will Riker, first 3 50-yarders he will make, 50 plus.
Regular season only?
Regular season, yeah. Preseason, we're not going to count.
Okay. Yeah, we don't want a Daniel Carlson situation where he misses a couple kicks and then the head coach gets all pissed off and decides to cut him in week 2.
Originally, I had he's going to miss his first 50-yarder, but let's, it's a positive time. Game 1 tonight, new quarterback. We're going to be positive. It's going to be great.
What was Blair Walsh as a rookie. What, 5 for 5 from 50? It was something
Like
ridiculous.
12 for 12?
Was he 10 or, it
12
was
for
like
12?
double digits.
Okay,
Yeah.
it was absolutely nuts.
It might have been. Was it? I'm gonna look that up. We have to pause the show. And
His
look
rookie
this up.
season was
He was an
hit
all-pro,
off
wasn't
the
he?
charts.
Wasn't he an all-pro
rookie
as a
record,
rookie
I
don't
kicker?
remember if he was
He made
an
a Pro
all-pro,
Bowl.
but
I know that. Not that that matters.
Should have. He was great. I mean, it set the Vikings up for years of kicking success.
He was 10 for 10 from 50 plus yards in his rookie season. Led the league in field goals made, Pro Bowler, and he was the All-Pro kicker.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the peak for old boy.
And now I think he's in insurance, right?
Real estate.
Real estate. Okay.
I think
That's
he
right,
sells
that's right,
real
you're right.
estate.
Yep. No, you're right.
Isn't that amazing? So he literally goes from being, you could argue, one of the 3 best kickers in the league right away at age 22. Never kicked in an NFL game again after the age of 27.
That was my first playoff heartbreak because I'm young and I didn't really start watching until the Joe Webb playoff game was my first real watching experience. But that, so the Blair Walsh one was one where my friend's dad said he's missing this. There's no way he's making it. And of course I was thinking, no chance. It's 27 yards. Nobody misses this kick. And from there on out, that's all I've known. So that was my first real experience with playoff heartbreak around here.
Yeah, Joe Webb, man. The Joe Webb
That-
game. Let's
that
just have
loss
Joe
did-
Webb sit in the pocket for 3 hours and try to dissect the defense. Good game.
That
for
loss
you guys.
didn't hurt at all, though. Like
Yeah, but
that-
as a kid, like I was every playoffs, like they're gonna win the Super Bowl.
Oh,
so
yeah. But I
You're
mean,
just an idiot. Just
the Walsh miss as a kid would have ripped your heart out because that's like a game that they had won and they were going to go play the Cardinals and now it looked like they could go on a roll and they had Teddy and everything was great and Teddy was going to be their quarterback for. Never mind. All right.
Stop.
Write this down.
back to Judd here for his first prediction.
I have no knowledge of this, but after attending OTA number 2, the first one open for the media to watch, and by the way, there will be a special edition of PD today.
Judd's camp
with
notes
Judd's
coming
camp
at you
notes.
today.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I've got like a page and a half of camp notes. I've surmised this. Nick Mullens, who is still with the Vikings, one of 4 quarterbacks, will be traded before the regular season opens. They're going to get a
Really?
draft pick for him.
I can see that.
So
Yeah,
I don't want to spoil Judd's camp notes, but it sounds like he was getting some pretty heavy number 2 QB reps
He was
in
number
practice.
He was number 2 to Darnold, but I don't think they're going to give up on Jaron Hall, and I don't think they're going to keep 4 QBs. I think that they are going to try and do what the Raiders did when they traded Nick Mullens to the Vikings, which is spin him off. And the Vikings, I believe, there's contradictory reports on this, but they either have 3 or 4 draft picks right now for next year. I think it's 4. Now they're going to get some compensatory picks, but you would literally take a 6th or 7th round pick for Mullens just to accrue picks that then might be traded again.
Yeah, when we were talking about the Vikings behind the scenes draft video yesterday on Purple Daily, and Kwesi at one point said to the room, "Hey, I'll get the picks back. I'll get some of these picks back. He's got some different methods to go get a 6th round pick for Nick Mullens or whatever else." So yeah, okay.
Write this down.
Dex.
All right, first one from me. I'll say this. Write this down. Gabriel Murphy and Jayshon Jones will make the Vikings 53-man roster. Both those guys are the top 2 paid UDFAs in the Vikings class.
Mm-hmm.
Gabriel Murphy, I think, might be the number 1 UDFA in all the NFL. But Gabriel Murphy, I feel pretty good about making the 53, but I'm going to add wide receiver Jayshon Jones to that mix as well. Both of those guys will make the Vikings' initial 53-man roster.
Okay, I admittedly
Write this down.
am drinking the Blake Brandel Kool-Aid. The Vikings seem to love him. They gave him a little boost in pay during the free agent period. And to this point, they haven't brought Dalton Reisner back. Doogie said that there's still very much interest on the Reisner side for, the Vikings or any NFL job. But I think the Vikings want to give Blake Brandel a chance to be their starting left guard. So I'm going to say this. Blake Brandel will have, after the first 4 weeks of the season, Blake Brandel will have a top 25 PFF grade among guards. Top 25 PFF grade among guards. And that means, so there's going to be at least 64 qualified guards, probably more, because you're going to have guys that get hurt or whatever. So He's going to be at least a top half of the league after the first 4 weeks of the season. Graded guard according to Pro Football Focus. Write it down.
Very
Write
bold.
this down.
That's right. This is your Blake Brandel propaganda podcast here, Purple Daily. Let's go. Okay, back to Coop.
May is great. We've got Blake Brandel, Nick Mullens predictions, but I'm going to go to an old quarterback for the Vikings. Can't quite let him go yet. Kirk Cousins will have a turnover before a touchdown this season. Just got to give him one more on the way out. I'm sorry.
Drive-bys, man.
Yep.
You guys just can't let it go. Can't let it go. Do you, off the record, do you foresee like an interception, a strip sack? What would be the nature of this turnover?
I had interception.
A fumbled snap?
Yeah, like, oh, that would be good. Another line up behind the guard on his first snap.
Strip sack.
Not to be mean, he's gone. The era's done. I can let it go now, but I had interception originally, so I'll say off the record, interception.
Okay. That's good.
Write this down.
Followed by we want Penix chance.
Yep.
He's
Led by
drive-bys.
me.
Just let Kirk has a family, man. You guys just let him live his life. Okay.
He's doing all right.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Julie and the kids are okay. My God, did you see their house that they had here just sold like for twice the price that he bought it for?
Of course,
man.
Of course, man. So his
genius.
football contracts are twice the price they probably should be. His house, but wasn't it listed at like 1.2? It was like a very modest priced house for someone that's earned over a
100%.
$250 million.
But it's like his second or third house. He's got the other one in Michigan, right? Yeah.
Florida. Yeah. You're right.
I think the original price that he paid was $800-something thousand, and I think you're right. I think it sold for 1.2.
Actually,
But
I think Cooper bought it with
Yeah,
his
I'm
budding
in the market.
Star Wars
Yeah, Star
YouTube
Wars.
revenue.
Hey, don't
Yeah.
laugh about that. That's entirely possible. You Star Wars guys.
Oh man.
All right, I
this
think we're
down.
back to Judd here.
You are. The Vikings will have 2 or more kickoff returns for touchdowns this season. We're entering we're entering a new era of the kickoff.
Are they doing that at OTAs? I don't want to spoil all of Judd's camp notes.
No,
but
they're
just
not.
give us a little. Okay.
I saw nothing. But for the first time since the rule was passed, Matt Daniels, the special teams coordinator, talked yesterday,
Yeah.
and I gotta be honest, we drilled down pretty deep, got pretty geeky about it, and he's talking about the potential that there could be 2 return guys now.
Yeah, well, dude,
instead
you
of
could
one.
line up I formation. Like, it's
Yeah.
much more like a running play than
That's
a
why.
kickoff.
That's why I think there's an opportunity. Now, I did say, could you ever be tempted to use a starter on kickoff returns because of the possibilities? And he's like, probably not. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to predict 2 or more. I think we're going to see the touchdown on kickoffs come back across the league. It's not a Vikings thing, but I think the Vikings will have 2 or more.
I want to see, you could be doing like zone reads and stuff, right? Because like the defensive line is right there, like it would be for a
Pretty
regular
cool. I
play.
like it.
He said it's so new and there's so much change that they actually have to practice each side. So like instead of like practicing kickoff coverage with kickoff returns, they have to break it into segments because there's so much to like comprehend now about the strategy of it.
I get that.
Yeah, that's going to be a really fun twist
Write this down.
to keep an eye on here. It actually makes special teams practice fun for the first time in NFL history, at least in my life, watching football practice.
Write this down.
Declan.
All right, write this down. The Vikings will acquire a player who was a former first or second round pick by week 1. And I'm going to leave this door open for any type of situation. So this could be a trade, this could be a signing, this could be, some claim of some sort. I don't know, but they will acquire a former first or second round pick by week 1. Write it down.
Yeah, they've done this
N'Keal
like
Harry.
pretty much every year. Yeah, N'Keal Harry. They love to
Who
go
was the
back
cornerback? They just Joanne Williams. I
Yeah.
think he was a second round pick from the Patriots too. Yeah.
They ditched him last week, right?
Yeah,
They ditched
he's
him
gone.
last week.
he
Jalen Rager from a few years ago. So yeah, I think that this trend will even with limited draft picks, just 4 draft picks by the way, Judd, as of now, pre-comp picks for the Vikings.
So it is
But,
cool. Thank you.
Yeah, write it down.
So, okay, speaking of propaganda here, Blake Brandel propaganda.
Write this down.
I am
Talking
also
to Boone
your.
about Blake Brandel.
I have not. I swear to God, I have not been.
Okay.
I do talk to those guys about a lot of other offensive line related things. We have not talked about Brandel or the next guy that I'm going to make a prediction about. So I'm on the record before seeing the behind-the-scenes YouTube video saying Michael Juergens will be on the 53-man roster at some point this season. He's the guard / center, but really he's going to project as a center out of Wake Forest. After watching that YouTube video and hearing Kwesi multiple times talk up, is Juergens going to be on the board? Can we get the kicker first and then get Juergens? And then he's on the phone with Juergens saying, we love you. We think you're going to play in this league for a long time. And again, he projects as a center. So I'm going to put a futures bet out there here on Write That Down. Michael Juergens will be the week 1 starter at center for the Minnesota Vikings in 2025. 2025. Dex thought I was going real aggressive here, 2024, but I think he's gonna get in, smart guy, experience in college. They're gonna say goodbye to Garrett Bradbury, and then he will step in as the starting center week 1 of 2025. Write it down.
Write this down.
Okay, back to Cooper.
All right. We're going for the big touchdown now. You know, the first 2 were just warm-ups, but here we go for the touchdown pass. The first sack, interception, and touchdown from the Vikings will all be from players who were not on the team last year. So draft picks are free agents, basically. Interception, sack, touchdown.
Nice.
So it could be like a Shaq Griffin interception. Yep. It could be a Blake Cashman scoop and score.
True,
something like that.
Aaron Jones. Well,
I see.
Defensive touchdown or...
Well, it could be. Yeah, I just threw a defensive touchdown out there.
I'm debating if I want to do a defensive touchdown. We'll go up any sort of touchdown.
I would, yeah.
Okay.
Smart move. Because
could be a Jonathan Grenard strip sack, picks it up into the end zone.
That counts. All right.
Like a Cooper, bringing the optimism here and the Kirk drive-bys. Cooper, since you have this life-changing platform once again on Purple Daily, is there anyone in your life you'd like to thank that brought you to this peak moment?
I've got a friend that will be watching this, so shout out to him. He's a big Judd fan. Loves
His name
Judd.
is Chewbacca. Actually.
No, it's C-3PO.
Exactly. Yeah. They all love Judd. So, no, it's great. I guess that's parents and friends and family. You know, big shout out with this life-changing platform. So, no, I appreciate you guys having me on. It's always a great time.
If you're going to invite us on for some Star Wars predictions on the Star Wars version of Write That Down, just give us a couple dates and times, and we'll try to make something work.
I'll be good. Yeah. These 2 after prep, I'll be fine.
No, yeah, I know Declan's got it, so that's good. All right.
C-3PO will break down in week 2 of the NFL season.
Man. There he is. Cooper Carlson, everybody.
Appreciate it, buddy.
See you, buddy. Jeb, before we go any further here, let's actually, you know what? I'm going to tell the audience about our friends at Bachman's. Let's talk about Bachman's here.
I mean, landscape is possible. There's old ads too.
I mean,
so help me out, Phil.
Yeah, you have more landscaping. I'd say in terms of like landscaping real estate options, Judd's probably number 1. I have a townhouse with some space. Dex is in the mix there. Some of you probably have acres. Like I grew up on a 7-acre hobby farm, and my mom and stepdad were constantly just putting landscaping duties on 14-year-old Phil's plates. Here's some rocks that you need to spread around. Here's some mulch. So Bachman's will help you with any of your landscaping needs, whether it's what type of trees to plant, what type of plants should you be aiming for, pallets of mulch. In fact, right now you can get 15% off pallets of mulch and easy delivery to your home through our friends at Bachman's. A lot of you guys might think Bachman's flowers, right? Well, yeah, of course. Like flowers are a centerpiece of what Bachman's does, but anything and everything to do with your landscaping and your home, you can get help at one of the 7 Bachman's locations in the Twin Cities. Stop in and say hi. If you are a rider out there, all you Ragnars who like to ride motorcycles and ATVs, UTVs, dirt bikes, go to DennisKirk.com for over 185,000 parts, apparel, and accessories, all of the top brands. They offer same-day shipping and free shipping on orders over $89. Also, they have a cool ride finder tool where you can enter your make, your model, and your year and find parts that exactly fit what it is that you ride. Go to DennisKirk.com for more information. Okay.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
Judd's third and final prediction.
All right. This actually occurred to me when you went through your quarterback list earlier this week, Phil, and we talked about this guy, and he's been sort of a very up and down so far. And so you can write this down. Jalen Hurts will be benched at some point by the Eagles during the upcoming season.
Interesting. Wow.
It's probably a long shot, but I just feel like there's weird vibe. There was a weird vibe there last year, and that's such a harsh town. And I'm not sure, how can I put this as nicely as possible without insulting him? I'm not sure Nick Sirianni thinks as clearly as you would like, let's say like an O'Connell does. I don't know. He just seems very reactionary at times.
Yeah, I agree that the vibes feel weird in Philadelphia. You also have lost one of the greatest centers of all time, Fletcher Cox on the defense. You've lost like two big leaders in that locker room.
Yep.
Good Lord.
And if they get off to a weird, slow start, do people start going into business for themselves? Well, like it is a weird vibe.
Sirianni will move to a hot seat. And I know that, 2 years ago during a Super Bowl, I think Sirianni, if they get off to a bad start, is on a hot seat almost immediately.
Did you guys ever see his contract, Jalen Hurts? It's actually like for 24 and 25 cap wise, it's actually set up pretty nicely. Like he only has a $13 million cap hit this year. Yeah. It's only a $21 million next year, but he has void dates through 2035. Yeah. And they really cannot realistically get out of this contract until 2027.
So the void years would just crunch up against the end of the contract at some point.
I like Jalen Hurts, and I agree with Judd. I think Nick Sirianni is probably more of a buffoon and gets blown out before they would bench Jalen Hurts. But it is Philadelphia, and yes, they will turn on someone pretty damn quick. But
I could see them benching him, and that ultimately being a huge part of Sirianni's demise.
Has a guy ever gone from being such a hot, young coaching flavor of the day to potentially being fired? I mean, literally within a year and a half, we're talking about, wow, Nick Sirianni as one of the 5 best young coaches in the league, and now it just looks like he doesn't have a counterpunch.
That young? That's a good question.
What is he? Is he in his 40s?
Because it feels like it was a relatively short
42.
period of time that Doug Peterson
fell
out of favor, but he wasn't really a young guy.
Correct.
No, Sirianni is 42. I think he was like 39 when he had the weirdest, most awkward introductory press conference.
Yeah.
Even weirder than Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell is just aggressively telling everyone that he wants his players to bite kneecaps.
Correct.
Nick Sirianni was like hands shaking, looked he was like reading from a script, talking about how we're going to build systems and processes and systems.
Him and Ryan Poles. And Poles' introductory with the Bears was also very, very awkward. He's much more poised. You can tell he's like way more comfortable now than he was during that first one.
Well, those things are tough. But the thing with Campbell is, no matter what we think of Dan Campbell, there's never a lack of confidence. Like, you're always like, okay, this guy loves himself some Dan Campbell.
And it doesn't feel fake or forced. Yeah, Sirianni felt like he was, if you look back, it felt like he was playing the role of a head coach more than he knew what he was doing. But, we'll see. Back to Dex.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
Third and final prediction.
Write this down. UFL prediction. We got the draft over with. The schedule's over with. We're going back to the well. The Battlehawks, Stallions, and Panthers will all win their respective games in the UFL this week. Battlehawks are undefeated. Stallions, I believe, only have 2 losses. And the Panthers also pretty dang good this year, too. So Battlehawks, Stallions, Panthers all win their respective games this week. Write it down.
Okay.
I believe it is the penultimate week of the regular season, too.
I think that's correct.
Yeah, we got playoffs coming up, boys. Mm-hmm. It's a very exciting time in the UFL.
I can't wait for write that down in the next couple weeks with Dex.
It's a collision course. Okay, I'm going to need Judd to take his headphones off for this one.
All right,
nice.
Hold on. Let me,
Judd's camp notes. I need you to take your headphones off.
I'm going to mute as well, so then
that doesn't really matter, but you can do that.
Okay.
Actually, it does matter.
We good? Can you hear us? You're good? Hello? Okay. So we have Judd's camp notes today in a bonus episode. Remember last year, Judd loved Theo Jackson, one of the backup, like fringe roster guys. Mm-hmm. On today's edition of Judd's Camp Notes, he will mention Theo Jackson's name at some point in the episode. I don't know if like Theo Jackson flashed or if maybe like Lewis Seen did something bad and it leads him to talk about the depth at safety, but Theo Jackson's name will come up on Judd's Camp Notes today on this Wednesday. Okay? So, Judd, you can come back. All right. Those are your write that down predictions.
Write this down.
By the way, I let's see if he. Nope. I just want to see if mine comes off the board here. Say something.
Oh,
No? Okay.
Hey, what's up? Check. 1, 2. Is this mic working?
Write that down.
1, 2, 1, 2. Hey, you know what else is working? Nicolay Law. For those of you who've been affected by an unforeseen injury of some kind, when that happens, things can get complicated, and you just need a guiding hand by your side. It'd be nice to have a relatable, just regular human being who also has a law degree, and that's what you find at Nicolay Law. They're just T-shirt and jeans folks that you see around the Twin Cities. Maybe you see them at a sporting event, but they have law degrees, and they are here to help you get the compensation you deserve after an accident. If you've been injured, get Minnesota's local award-winning injury lawyers. Get Nicolay. Start your path to winning at nicolaylaw.com or give them a call at 1-855-NICOLAY. Before we go here on this Write That Down Wednesday, and we will have the classic OG edition of Write That Down on the Score North YouTube channel and Minnesota Sports with Mackie and Judd. Also, a couple other shameless plugs. Flagrant Howls, our Timberwolves podcast that Judd and I are on with Kyle Teige and Michael Grady, Jim Peterson joined the show this week. Craig Kilborn joined the show. That podcast is currently 7th on the national Apple basketball podcast charts, which is amazing. So thank you to the Timberwolves for being relevant. And if you are a Vikings fan who's also a Timberwolves fan and you haven't checked out Flagrant Howls, please do so. Bring your ass over to the Flagrant Howls podcast feed. But my wife asked me this morning, because game 1 at Target Center, Western Conference Finals is tonight. Judd, you and I are going to go live after the game is over. We'll be inside the arena. She said, have you ever been to a Minnesota sports playoff event this deep into a season? And I said, wow. So I certainly have not been to. I was trying to do the math on this. Like the Timberwolves, no, because I didn't go to any of the Western Conference Finals games in college in 2004. I've never been to a Wild playoff game. Judd goes and covers those with his credential. Twins, the last time they went this far, like championship series, was 2002. I didn't go as a fan, and I wasn't old enough in 1991. And the Vikings have played in NFC championship games, but the most recent ones where I've been a media member, quote unquote, they've been on the road, and I wasn't traveling.
Right.
So the answer is like tonight, Vikings, Wolves, like this is going to be the deepest a Minnesota sports team has ever played a game in which I will be in attendance. Judd, you've been to you've covered like the Saints Vikings game in 2009 on the road.
Yeah. Well, and as a fan in 87 and 91, I was at most of the World Series games. And then in 91, the North Stars went to the Stanley Cup Finals. And I went to at least a couple of those games at Met Center. So I've seen finals games, but this is, no one's been to a conference finals among the big men's teams in this town since the Timberwolves in 2004, because the Wild went in 2003. And
the Vikings haven't played a home NFC championship game since 98, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's hard. I think it's hard to compare football, though, because those are all single elimination, one game, and you're done.
Yeah.
Like this is a, baseball now, because it's so layered. Basketball for sure, and hockey, you have to make a run. Like it's a serious, long run. So to me, it's a different dynamic.
Did I see the stat from Alan Horton that even though, Minnesota hasn't won a championship in professional sports in 30 years, but the Twin Cities Metro has the best Game 7 percentage? They're like between the Wild, Twins, and Timberwolves, I believe they have only lost like a combined 1 or 2 Game 7s. The Wild have only lost one. That came to the Knights a few years ago.
Wolves are 2-0.
Their Wolves are 2-0. The
Twins
North Stars
2-0 in the World Series.
So this is going back so the Twins lost in Game 7 and 65 here, and then they won in 87 and 91. So they're 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
The North Stars, I would have to look at Game 7s, but because most series don't go 7 games. It feels like.
Yeah, Wolves 2-0.
So you might be right.
Wild 2-1.
Here it is. Metro area's best Game 7 records of all time: baseball, hockey, basketball.
Yep.
Miami, 11-6. They have a .647 winning percentage. Minneapolis, St. Paul, 12-7, a .632 winning percentage, the second best only to Miami. Minimum 15 games. The Lakers, Minneapolis Lakers, went 2-1.
So
The North Stars are 3-4. The Twins 2-1. Wild 3-1. Timberwolves 2-0.
Interesting.
In Game 7s.
Look at us. One of the most clutch cities in
We
the
haven't-
country.
We've got the longest streak with years between championships, but damn it.
If
when
we
it
get
gets
to a game 7 in like the
Don't
second
let it-
round, we're gonna F you up. That's right.
You better hold on.
That's right, Peja Stojakovic. That's right, Michael Porter Jr.
Stojakovic.
Don't screw with us in the second round. So, all right, that's a wrap on this version of Purple Daily. I'll write that down Wednesday. Be on the lookout in your Purple Daily podcast and YouTube feeds for Judd's Camp Notes, an OTA edition, and also the classic edition of Write That Down on the Score North YouTube channel and Mackie and Judd podcast feeds. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. That's all we want around here.
Work starts now.
Mm-hmm.